Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of Chainsaw Man. How you all doing? I hope y'all doing good today. Last time, on the last set, we watched gross and disgusting things that I had a hard time watching, and Denji had an indirect kiss with a chupa chup, courtesy of Makima. And after learning a few things about Himeno, we ended it with an assassination of Magma and unnamed guy she was with, because all unnamed people are easy to kill in this show, in this whole thing here. So now we're gonna see the results with the next set of chapters. So it's time for us to get started. Chainsaw Man, chapter 23, Gunfire by Tatsuki Fujimoto. It was a nice, quiet, sunny day out in the city. A gyoza was picked up by a pair of chopsticks, and Denji had his mouth open, ready to take a bite into it after having dipped it in soy sauce. Aki was very quiet and reserved as Himeno and Power scarfed down their ramen noodles. In another part of the city, a crew showed up from the agency. A woman pointed at the house to those who were watching. Meanwhile, Aki and Kobani spoke to a nice old lady who looked like a pug. They pointed. Kobani pointed at a map, and the old lady received her directions and started walking away. Kobani and Aki smiled, turned around, started walking. And the old lady looked back at them. She reached far into her coat pocket and pulled out a gun. She aimed it right at them with an angry look on her face. The other dudes at the other part of town also pulled out guns, and and two more people pulled out their guns over by the house. And there was a loud sound of bang all throughout the entire town. And the old dude with his dog looked back, wondering, what the heck was that? Oh, Denji said. What's that noise?
You don't know? Well, fool, 'tis the sound of taiko drums.
It's a festival, son, Aki said. Oh, I got the wrong person. Arai. It was Arai. Sorry. Arai and Kobeni got shot at, and Aki thought it was a festival. Aki said. Did you truly not copulate yesterday? You know how I feel about fornication in the eyes of God.
Denji, actually quite the gentleman.
Himeno took another slurp of noodles as a guy not far away reached into his pocket. I can't believe you could eat that ramen here. Doesn't it taste terrible? He said. Denji looked and Aki looked in his direction. Himeno spoke.
Who's here?
No, it tastes fine to me. I like ramen.
Don't speak to me so familiarly.
Power screamed out. I see. You can't judge the quality of my flavors. You can't help it, huh? If you only eat the same flavors in your childhood, apparently your palate will be unrefined as an adult. Having an unrefined palate lowers your happiness. Aki and Himeno listened on.
Hey, I'm happy,
Power screamed. We shall leave. Come on, people. My granddaddy was the kindest man in the world. He fed me good food at expensive restaurants. He was a Yakuza, but he was a Yakuza with principles. And them principles always got upheld, damn it. People like my granddad, maybe you'd call them unnecessary evil. But necessary, nevertheless. I'm taught he only killed a handful of women and children. Sadly, though, I'm not like that. Denji listened on. He'd buy me anything I wanted with the drug money. Gundam models, blow up dolls, VTubers. He was a true Tokyoite and a good man who everybody loved. Even the women. You loved him too, Denji. The young man pulled out a photo and revealing the old man that Denji worked for, standing behind the child version of the man that Denji's currently looking at. It's like that. Denji, of course, calmly asked, "What are you getting at?" Aki asked, "You know him, son? What I'll tell you about bringing your baggage to this table? The gun devil says it's what it wants your heart." And he pulled out a gun and shot at Denji's head. Aki pulled him down and took a shot to the shoulder. Himeno got up and she got shot too. Power, on the other hand, used her awesome power of instant teleportation and popped up in front of her opponent and delivered an uppercut square to the jaw.
Top knot.
Aki immediately made the shape of a wolf's head with his hand. "Kon, get over here, boy." And the giant wolf's head chomped away, breaking the entire building down, killing innocent people in the process. All the poor chefs and all the poor waiters are now lying dead in pain and agony. Aki and Power looked up, and Aki started realizing something as sweat poured down his face. He looked back at Denji, lying on in the debris, with blood splurting out of his head, staring in shock and horror. Himeno, with a gunshot wound to her chest, blood pouring down her nose, in total shock and horror. "Rocky, Hayakawa, you've put something monstrous in my mouth. It's not human or dealt." And suddenly, a katana shot out from the wolf's head, the fox's head. It slowly slid down, and he ripped himself out of the whole entire body, entrails and all. He was similar to the Chainsaw Man, only instead of chainsaw blades, it were katana blades and jutting out of his hands and out of his head, with a deep, ugly mask and a Jotaro hat. He looked down at Aki. "Power, stop Himeno's bleeding right now, woman. I got myself a sword fight to deal with." To be continued. Chainsaw Man, Chapter 23, by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Chainsaw Man, Chapter 24, Curse, by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Aki slowly unshielded his sword. He held it pointing downward. It had the shape of a spike at the very tip. Power noticed this.
A spike?
And standing before them was a guy with a katana for a head instead of a chainsaw. He slowly phased out and reappeared in front of Aki with sword, lunging at him with swords aimed at him. Aki ducked under him as both swords swiped over his body. Aki immediately saw an opening and jabbed his sword into the guy's back. "Fire, woman!" "Eh?" He just stood there. He plunged his sword, his spike sword, right through the katana man. Oh, I never noticed that. Suddenly, a mysterious finger popped up in front of the sword. It flicked the spike sword right through the katana man's chest. "3," the lips said. The katana man stood in pain. He gritted his teeth. Aki stared on. He swung his sword back around, and Aki once again ducked. He got behind the katana man and aimed the spike on his back again. "Fire, woman!" he said again, and the sword plunged right through Katana Man's back and out of his chest.
Two,
the lips said. "Fire, woman! One more time!" He jabbed the the spike sword plunged right through the belly of the Katana Man again.
one,
said the lips. And he was pushed back right into the debris.
I've had enough of this. I've had enough of that creepy thing,
the Katana Man said. "Curse, damn it! Finish it off like Mortal Kombat."
0,
the lips said.
Good.
The Katana Man was grabbed by a mysterious hand. It lifted him up into the air and slowly crushing him. Then a pair of hands grabbed his arms and stretched them out. A pair of skulls clamped down onto his teeth, clamped down onto his shoulders, and pulled him into a rib cage that wrapped around him. And he collapsed on the ground in a pool of his own blood. He was unconscious. Aki wiped his face and was in shock. "How's Himeno?"
Oh, she needs a doctor fast. She's totally dying.
"Oh no. That guy had a gun. Even though they're impossible to obtain in Japan unless you're a police officer or a devil hunter. Where he got that from?" "The gun devil says it wants your heart," Aki remembered him saying. "First, we'll get Himeno medical treatment. We gotta get them leeches on her fast, drain out the blood real quick. Everybody, let's get ready for it." And a weird short-haired woman popped up from behind him, dressed in a hoodie. She quietly said,
You're a cursed devil. Run someone through with that spikes enough times and they'll die. Is that the gist of it?
she said with no interest in mind.
Nice moves on your part.
Her eyes pointed right at Aki. "Where you come from, woman?" Aki said. "Are you with him? You're some kind of devil spawn or something. You don't look conservative enough. Are you listening to me, woman? Stop looking at him and his junk. That's completely immoral. You realize that staring at his junk like that, woman? Are you planning to do things with him? Oh, gosh. You're going to fornicate with a corpse? Oh, jeez. I'm going to have to get cross on you." And suddenly, with the touch of her hand, he stood up. What the devil? You ain't Jesus Christ, woman. What the heck are you doing?"
Why'd you lose?
she asked the Katana Man.
I had my guard down. I really had my guard down. I can't believe it. I'm Katana Man, and I got my guard down. Well, get on with it and kill him. All right, I'll get on with it. That's fine.
And he crouched in a cool, awesome pose. His sword's aimed at Aki. Aki immediately raised his sword up in defense, only for the Katana Man to stand right behind him out of nowhere. He opened his mouth in surprise. Everyone watched on, and Aki's sweat just poured down his face. And blood gushed out like Old Faithful, and Aki screamed out in pain as Katana Man cheered in joy. Chainsaw Man, Chapter 24, by Tatsuki Fujimoto. To be continued. No, that was a couple of quick chapters. These are very short chapters. Never even dawned on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just reading through them, when I was reading the Japanese language versions. I was just reading through them very consistently. But it never even dawned on me that they were very, very, very short chapters. And let me tell you something, pretty good for very short chapters. Like, they cover a lot of ground. So we ended up with mass murder. Everybody here getting shot up into oblivion over here. Very nice cinematography here with the bang going on. The old man just catching the sound and everything. I don't know why I said cinematography, but nevertheless, this is actually pretty good. Pretty good setup. You know, we don't have to like see the shots happen or anything. We already saw that with Makima in the previous chapter, but here, you know, we get the message that that's all going down. And we got introduced to the Katana Man, who turned out to be the grandson of the old man from the Yakuza that Denji worked for. And so that's cool that it circled, that the whole thing circled back completely. And we ended up with this crazy battle. Something to do, apparently it's the Gun Devil sent him, which is very interesting, all things considered, that the Gun Devil sent him. Since we don't even know who the Gun Devil is or what it looks like at this point. But nevertheless, Gaki calls out his spirit guide, and as we could see, just completely obliterates the whole place. Like, everybody's dead. Everybody's dead here. You can't tell me that the chefs and the waiters and any of the custodian staff, anybody who was there, other than our main characters, did not die from that. You can't tell me that didn't happen, man. That's some crazy collateral going on there. But we end up with the setup for what it will be a very awesome matchup. Really like how detailed this drawing is. Again, with the whole entrails and everything. But this is a nice and cool design of the Katana Man. Katana Man. As you can see with the swords laid out. Although I don't know if that's very practical for the head, because you have the flat side, and then you got the blade on one side rather than double edged. Because Chainsaw Man is double edged, you know, he's got the blades on both ends, so he could go up and down, but he could only swing to the right with that sword. But even so, it's a pretty cool design. It's got that nice JoJo look with the Jotaro hat. Like, man, you can't go wrong with a Jotaro hat. With a Jotaro hat, all things considered. But this brings us to our first fight with Katana Man. And here we go. Which was very well done, very, very, very fast, very to the point. Thankfully, it was to the point, and we get to see one of Aki's moves here, where he screams out fire. And I never noticed it in the when I was reading this. That there was a finger here. I never noticed that. That kind of threw me off guard. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find that. Because, you know, these books are very small, all things considered. Let's see here. Here we go. This is it. Alright, here we go. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that on here. So let me show you. Yeah, see, because it's more noticeable because it's bigger, but I never caught that on the sides here. As you can see right here, right there. I never caught that. Oh man, shame on me, because that's actually a pretty nice setup of of what Aki is doing with this curse, and very nicely detailed drawing here. But yeah, because this is all action sequence, the pacing really moved very fast and very quickly, with the slicing and swiping, and really get to see Aki's combat prowess. Like, he easily can duck under this guy. He's very predictable, and ultimately pulls off this most awesome metal looking. Like, this is a metal cover album. This is a metal album cover right here. Man, that's one of the things I like about Chainsaw Man. Tatsuki Fujimoto can make these things look like awesome rocking metal album covers here. Like, you could put this on a cover of a heavy metal album. It works. And look at the nice detail. The rib lining here really has the look of enclosement. Like, it's actually, it feels animated. There we go. So while he's being chomped on, those ribs feel very animated. The way that they're drawn, it really looks like to me they're closing in on him right now as I look at it, and that's pretty impressive to pull off. I've always enjoyed Fujimoto's really detailed to the art and how he can bring out the best in these imageries. Um, this is he really channels the whole Berserk thing, quite honestly. But we get to meet the next opponent. This we never get her name again. Again, my main problem with Chainsaw Man is that they don't introduce everybody's names. You know what I'm saying? Like we never got introduced to Katana Man. Like we didn't get his name. We don't even get this girl's name, who's pulling off this Jesus Christ move here, the resurrection move. So yeah, it's one of the things that drives me a little bit nuts, man. But the later book, the next arc though, they do give us names and everything for the most part. But really, in the early works, not getting the names right off the bat can be very annoying at times. You know, it can be very annoying at times. But nevertheless, we end up with this really cool piece of art here. I really like this one. I really like this. That's a really cool look. Seeing how the crouch looks. The top down view gives us all the angles and everything of that pose, which is really impressive. I like that. You know, I'm telling you, man, the artwork is just so awesome in this manga. It's really cool. So ultimately, in the end, Aki's got a lot in his hands for the next set of chapters. So we're gonna see how this fight goes down. One of the things I also like about Chainsaw Man is that the fights don't take too long. They don't take too long. You know, say just long enough for us to enjoy it and everything. That's what I like about it. So that's it. Until the next set of chapters, I want to thank you all for joining me. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, follow. You know you want to. And be sure, if you're interested, to check out over on my Patreon. If you're interested in contributing to this wonderful project going on here. And if you like to read books, you can head on over to Barnes & Noble or Amazon.com and grab yourself a copy of The Impossible Man right here. A strange fantasy novel written by me, available right now, Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. And if you want to actually catch me doing the live streams, head on over to Twitch or Kick, right there listed to the side, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursdays, if you're interested. I especially do the Let's Reads on Tuesdays, if you want to see it in the raw and and catch all the bloopers. So, thank you all for joining me. And until the next set, I wish you all a good night, a buenas noches, and oyasumi nasai.